Lesson 4.2, Video 5. Now let's get into our negative exponents. So if we look closely here, we have some negative exponents present. So the rule states that if you have a negative exponent, it's saying, no, you may not stay in the numerator. So that means, when I clean this up, my n to the fifth will be in the denominator. And notice my exponent changed signs because that's where it belongs. My p to the fourth stays there because that's a positive exponent. But my r squared, or my r to the negative 2, is saying the same thing. No, you may not stay in the denominator. You must move to the numerator, which then makes the power go to positive. So this is our final answer. We're written with no negative exponents, and there's no like bases, so we can't simplify anything. So that's kind of what that looks like. So let's take a look at the next one. Okay, well, we have a couple things that can be changed. We have a negative exponent here, and a negative exponent here, and a negative exponent here. And we're going to come to a situation here where you can start to decide the choices you can make. And our choices here is that we can clean up the negative exponents first, combine things, or we can actually use the quotient rule, but we'll get to that later because doing the quotient rule with negative exponents can be kind of messy. So let's just clean it up. So first of all then, we have 2a squared. That a to the negative 3 cannot stay in the denominator. That's what the negative exponent is saying. So I have to move it to the numerator where it becomes a positive 3. We have b to the third, and we have b to the negative 1 in the denominator, so I have to bring it to the numerator. And then on the top, I have a c to the negative fifth, which means it's going to have to go below. So I have to bring that down below because the negative says you cannot stay in the numerator. And we have c to the fourth. So if we take a look at this, make sure we have everything. We have our 2 on top, 10 on the bottom. We have an a squared there. We have a b cubed still there. C to the fifth is now below. A to the negative third is now in the numerator. B to the negative 1 is now in the numerator. And C to the negative fourth is still in the denominator. All right, so let's clean it up. 2 and 10 simplify to 1 and 5. Okay, so we have a 1 and a 5. We have a squared a to the third multiplied together, which gives us a to the fifth. And then you have b to the third power, b to the 1 power. They're being multiplied, the bases are being multiplied, so we add our exponents and we get b to the fourth. On the bottom, we have c to the ninth. And that is our answer. So let's start with the v, and we see that the v has a negative 2 power, so that's going to need to move, as well as the y to the negative fifth. So that means we would have w x squared that was already on top, and then a y would be raised, and the power would change to a positive. On the bottom we had a y. A y to the negative fifth was moved to the numerator, but the v comes down because it has negative 2 and then now has a positive 2 power. This one, however, has something that we can actually clean up. So if we take a look at the w's, they can cancel away, or if we look at it as powers, 1 minus 1 is 0, so either way they're going to cancel. So we're left with x squared, y to the fifth, over v squared. Our last one, again, let's look at what's negative. We have a negative 8, a negative 5 power, negative 2 power. So let's clean that up first. We have 32. We have a b to the fourth, because that stays there. That's this one. I'm going to have to bring up a c to the negative 2, so it becomes c to the positive 2. On the bottom we have a 4. We have a cubed. I'm going to bring down the a to the negative 8 and make it a positive 8. And we have b to the 6, which is already there, and also c to the positive fifth when that moves. So we move this down here, we move that up there, and we move this down below. So it's to make sure we have everything. We have 32, we have b to the fourth, we have c squared moved to the top. On the bottom we have 4, we have a to the third, we have a to the eighth now that it was moved, b to the sixth, and c to the fifth. So everything's in the right place. No negative exponents. So now we can simplify. 4 goes into 4 once. 4 goes into 32 8 times. So we have 8. We have a, oops, excuse me, that's going to be in the bottom. Let's take care of that. Okay, so then we have b to the fourth. This is going to be a good question because something's going to come up here. B to the fourth and b to the sixth. So if we subtract, we have b to the 4 minus 6. Then we have c to the 2 minus 5. On the bottom we have a to the 3 plus 8 for powers, and we have 11. All right, now something interesting here. And when we do our subtraction, we have 8 to the, or just 8, and then b to the negative 2, 4 minus 6, top minus bottom, and c to the 2 minus 5, so negative 3, all over a to the 11th. Now, we just so happen to organize things, and we did our subtraction, and we still have negative exponents, so we have to clean that up, which we know how to do. This gets moved below, and so does this. Because the negative exponents is no, you may not stay there. So we have 8 alone on top now. We have a to the 11th on the bottom. We now have b squared and c cubed with positive exponents. This ends lesson 4.2, video 5.